You know, guys, one of the things that I'm struggling to understand is what was Ramaphosa thinking when he decided to appoint Professor Firoz Cachalia to be the acting police minister. I mean, I have nothing against Cachalia. I'm sure that Cachalia is a good man in real life. I'm sure he is a supportive friend who will even help you wash your dog. But I don't think that Cachalia is the right man to lead an institution like the South African Police Service, more especially at this time. With everything that we are hearing from Madlanga Commission and the ad hoc committee, I don't think that Cachalia is the right man to be leading that institution. I don't think so. Even when he speaks, he does not inspire any confidence. And again, you think about some of the things that Kachalia has said before he even occupied office. You remember that interview that he did? I think it was with Sowetan, where he basically expressed his hate for shoot to kill. Kachalia believes that with a strong rhetoric coming from the government, the criminals can actually toe the line. And I actually couldn't believe my ears that this guy is going to lead an institution like the South African Police Service, and he's telling us that the police that are going head to head with the criminals and murdering these useless criminals shouldn't be doing that. Shouldn't be doing that because with a strong rhetoric, the criminals can actually toe the line. So now Mr. Kachalia was at the ad hoc committee, and I want us to actually focus a bit on the part where he was speaking about General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi and the uniform that the general wore when he did that press conference on the 6th of July.
The public, in full military regalia, armed and so forth, worried me.
I mean, like, first of all, man, it was not a military regalia, guys. It was not a military regalia, it was a special task force regalia. So for the Minister of Police to be sitting there in Parliament and saying that General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi was wearing the military regalia, what the hell is he talking about? What the hell is he talking about?
The public, in full military regalia, armed and so forth, worried me. And I made a statement to that effect after my appointment. And I said at the time, which I maintain is correct, that was that kind of public statement was not in the ordinary situation, in the expected situation, appropriate, because the police have a command structure. There's a national commissioner, and there is a minister and a president and so forth. And ordinarily, I think professional conduct requires respect for that structure of authority. But I also said that should his allegations be sustained, his very worrying allegations about the infiltration of criminal cartels into the police service, into the political process, and so forth, if those allegations were to be sustained, then he would have been vindicated. So in that sense, he would have been shown to be a whistleblower. And so when senior officers who are ordinarily expected to adhere to those principles, where extreme situations arise, such as we are now in, and those norms are not working to achieve the results that society expects, one expects bold, courageous conduct by those who hold important positions in our society, to tell the truth.
I mean, that is exactly what Mkhwanazi was. Mkhwanazi was bold and he was courageous. But Kachalia, like other politicians, he is just concerned about the attire that General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi wore that day, and he's not happy about the fact that General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi came to us as the people of this country and decided to tell us what has been going on in the government and in the criminal justice system. He is not worried about what General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi has said. He is worried about the fact that the general has decided to wear the special task uniform. And he goes to parliament to say it was a military attire. And he's also worried about the fact that General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi did not follow protocol. How do you expect the General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi to follow protocol, whereas he's going to blow the cover on the same people that are leading him? How do you expect him to do that? These people, the only thing that they were worried about, it is protocol. General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi told us back in March that, guys, I have been exhausting everything. I've been trying to talk to Senzo Mchunu. I've been trying to talk to the chief of staff of this person. I've been trying to tell these people about these shenanigans in the South African Police Service, and nobody has decided to listen to me. And this is the reason why I have decided to go to the public and tell the public. But no, still they're still saying that no, you should have followed the protocol. You should have followed the protocol. This is what this is the only thing that they are concerned about. None of these people are actually addressing all of these things that are said by General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. This is the reason why when Fikile Mbalula did that interview on ENCA, I remember that Ramaphosa was out, he was in Brazil, and Fikile Mbalula said that Ramaphosa is coming to the country and he's going to deal with all of these things. But the journalist in ENCA, like, she couldn't ask Fikile Mbalula, what is it exactly that Ramaphosa is going to deal with? Is Ramaphosa going to deal with all of these things that are said by General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, or he's going to deal with the fact that the general has came out with this information? Because now we are looking at the situation where the comrades are totally ignoring everything that has been said by General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi during that press conference, but they are worried about what he wore, they are worried about the people that were protecting him, they are worried about him following the protocol. They say nothing about what was said in that press conference. They have never addressed any of those things. Oh, I mean,
I've never had to tell the National Commission I'm going to have a press briefing to tell South Africans about the festive season operation launch. I never had any National Commission in permission to tell me that I should have a press briefing about talking to South Africans about a murder that had happened, multiple murder that had happened in the area and what the police are doing about it. I never had to had any press briefing about those things. So we'll conduct press briefing as and when we see the need to inform the citizens.
But given what you agree was an extraordinary event, that not even the National Commissioner was aware of what was going to happen at that event, and an event which I think arguably implicates him in the sense that he is the head of this organization that you say is being infiltrated, that is corrupt, and that is involved in organized crime.
Do you think if I gave him, I'm sorry to ask a question, but if I assume, had I given the details of what I was going to say and that's going to implicate him, the likelihood is that...
That's a rhetorical question.
The likelihood...
You're going to answer it.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. If I had told him the details perhaps of what I was going to say, being the head of the organization, the likelihood is that he was going to stop me from having the press briefing.
He may have, because you said earlier in your evidence quite rightly that you take instructions from the National Commissioner. Would it have been an unlawful instruction to tell you, sorry, General Mkhwanazi, I don't think it's right, I don't think it's appropriate for you to have such a press briefing. In fact, I'm quite happy to have a meeting with you right now, given how angry you feel about these matters.
Honorable Chair and members, had I told the National Commission of the details of what I was going to give a presentation on, I do not know what was going to be the response. I assume that had they responded by saying that I should not have a press briefing, I was not going to go ahead. Of course, I was not going to have that press briefing because it's my commander who would have given me instruction. So, but I didn't tell him. I didn't give him the details of what I'm going to be presenting to the public. I just told him that I'm going to give a presentation about the political testing.
And the presentation, I suppose, to put it mildly, caused some consternation because amongst members of the public.
No, not amongst the members of the public, but the politicians. Not amongst the members of the public, but the politicians. The politicians are the ones that were not happy to see General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi up there wearing that special task force gear. They are the only ones that were not happy about that. But as for the general public, guys, were you not happy? I was happy.
Because you were also wearing camouflage. You weren't wearing your normal, ordinary police uniform that you would wear as the provincial commissioner. Some of your colleagues, other officers, were also in camouflage and seemed to be sort of wearing a mask to disguise their faces. And one saw, I think, I know nothing about guns, but it looks like something really heavy, a gun. What was the reason for that, or was that also nothing unusual?
Well, I felt that I was going to take this posture because of the matter I was addressing and the people that are implicated into what I wanted to address. And I've said it before the commission that sometimes we don't necessarily divulge more on what we are doing as a strategy, but we felt that this is the right thing to do at the time, and it's directed specifically to those that are standing in the way of us enforcing the law.
So some members of parliament were not happy about these utterances of Cachalia, and they've decided to pick his brain up a bit, because it clearly seems like Cachalia was more worried about the uniform that Mkhwanazi wore instead of the things that he said.
But I was worried about the custody, and I was worried about the integrity of the commission, because this is a matter falling within its terms of reference.
Honorable Shong. Thank you, Chair. Acting Minister, my follow-up question is regarding what Honorable Nomvalo had asked you. I want to know that on the uniform that you had issues with, did you establish that that uniform worn by General Mkhwanazi, was it legal or not legal uniform?
No, I didn't, and that's a fair enough question. You know, I'm not familiar with all the versions of military regalia and when they can be worn and when not.
So if you are not familiar with with these different gears of military, why would you say that somebody is wearing a military gear when you are not sure about it? Why would you go out in public and express your dissatisfaction with General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi wearing this military regalia, whereas it's not even a military regalia? Why would you go to the public and express your opinion on something that you clearly don't know? He admits himself that, no, man, I don't know these things. I don't even know when they are worn. But I'm going to tell the people my opinion anyway. I'm going to go against this person anyway. So he's not even aware if General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, it was legal for him to wear what he wore or not. He's not even aware of that. But no, he's just concerned. No, I'm concerned about what he's wearing.
Or not legal uniform?
No, I didn't, and that's a fair enough question. You know, I'm not familiar with with all the versions of military regalia and when they can be worn and when not. I now understand that he is as part of special ops. I suppose the question for me at the time was not whether, you know, he was entitled to wear the uniform, but the image of someone who's dressed like a soldier, that's how I see that, is appearing in public making the statements that he was. But I've explained that my response to that was a complex one. It was one that
I mean, Cachalia is such a liberal man. Cachalia is such a liberal man. This guy is worried about an image. He's worried about an image. Worried about an image.
gave him also, I think, due credit. You know, I might mention to you, apart from issues around constitutionality and so forth, you will recall actually that in the liberation movement, this whole question of the relationship between the armed wing and the civilian leadership was always a live question. And we were very clear that the army was subject, that the political leadership, the elected political leadership was in charge. So we didn't have a tradition in our movement anyway, as I understand it, of militarism. It can happen in liberation movements, but we rejected that view. You know, my sensibilities go back a long way on this matter. But if the issue is, what is my attitude to General Mkhwanazi? You know, I've watched him. I've met him in private. I've watched him in public. I've met him in meetings. He is a well-trained, professional police officer who's in a position of leadership in the police service. And it looks to me like, you know, he's among the most impressive, at least as he presents himself in discussion, when he's appeared before you.
No, what about his record? Why are you not referencing his record? Why are you referencing him presenting himself to you? Because if you're going to say that General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi is an impressive police officer, you have to say that based on his record, not on how he talks or how he handles himself. Why are you not referencing to his record?
When he's appeared before Malanga, he's got substance, he's got knowledge and expertise. So, but I cannot say that the issue that concerned me and which I raised is no longer a concern. I'm explaining why, and I stick by that.
So, njengoba ukhuluma into ongayazi, onje you speak English. So since you've established that what you spoke about you didn't know and you didn't understand,
Point of
does
order,
that...
please.
No, I withdraw.
Can
Chair.
you withdraw that?
Yeah, withdraw.
Thank you.
But it means the same thing in English. Since you spoke of something that you didn't know, in Zulu it's something ongayazi, would you take this opportunity maybe to apologize to General Mkhwanazi or clarify the matter in the public? Because it seemed as if you were saying is wearing the uniform that is illegal in the subs, or it's not allowed. It gave that perception. Would you maybe take this opportunity to clarify that? Now, when something something that you don't know, it's the same thing. It's English and Zulu. He spoke of something that he didn't know. He said so. What is wrong with that? It's parliamentary. What is wrong with?
So why are these people bickering? Because Cachalia himself admitted that he does not even know how these military gears differ. And he doesn't even know when these military gears are worn. So why are these people bickering? Because Cachalia himself admitted that I spoke of something that I don't know. Why are they bickering?
That why are you defending the minister? It made people think that General Mkhwanazi wearing a regalia, a military uniform is wrong. So that must be fixed. What is wrong with that?
Yeah, Honorable Shonge, you may be justified, but please address the chairperson. Yes. Thank you.
So because of this statement, I don't know whether the minister got the question.
Minister, you may respond.
Thank you, Chair. So, you know, I don't ever pretend that I know everything. When I don't know something, it's no skin of my face to acknowledge that, because that's the way one learns. I'm not a repository of the truth. I don't have a monopoly of wisdom or expertise. So it's no problem for me to say I didn't know. Now, I never said that he was not entitled to wear that uniform.
But then it is a problem because Ramaphosa had already announced that Cachalia was going to be an acting police minister. So you have this guy that was waiting to occupy this office, already speaking about the matters of the national interest. And he says that, no, there's nothing wrong with me saying that I didn't know. This guy simply does not want to admit that he gave the impression that General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, what he did was wrong. Him wearing that special task uniform, it was wrong. And it was not wrong. Why can't you just say that, yes, I apologize for this impression that I gave, understanding that everybody was listening to me because I was there, coming acting police minister. Of course, it was wrong for you to express an opinion about something you are clueless about. More especially if you're going to be the police minister. You comment on the issues that has to do with policing, but you are totally ignorant on those issues. You didn't even ask one person there, by you that is it legal? What kind of uniform that General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi is wearing? And is it legal for him to actually wear this uniform? No, I'm not going to ask anybody else. I'm simply going to go out and accuse the general of wearing a military attire on national television. And now I'm being told to apologize for giving the people the impression that the general wore the military regalia. No, I'm not going to apologize because I never pretended to know everything.
Uniform. I never said so. I never said it was illegal. So I can't be requested to answer a...
You never said it was illegal, but you insinuated that it was illegal because if you had no problem with it, you wouldn't have raised it time and time again. Why are you You are not only gaslighting him. I feel like I'm being gaslit right now.
And to answer a question that doesn't arise. I understand that why this matter is receiving the attention that it is. I noticed that much of the issues of content and substance in my statement are not the subject of this conversation, or the matters that are within the terms of reference of the inquiry committee. But I will say it again. There's no need for me to apologize. About something that was not intended badly, that was no insult.
Of course you intended it badly. Of course you intended it badly. Because you could have done your brief research. But you didn't. You just decided to go out and speak against a man doing something that you are clueless about.
And so I don't apologize. In fact, I believe that the issue that I raised was an important one. I shared my initial impressions with the public in an open way. That's, what it means to have a public discourse. And if my comments have occasioned a public discourse, that's a good thing.
It is not a good thing to make us speak about you as the police minister, like talking about things you don't know. It is not. It is not a good thing. It is not a good thing. And again, man, you don't need General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi to demand the apology from you, man. As a man, this is something that you must just do. You must do it, man. As a man, you don't need General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi to say, Cachalia, what you said about me was wrong. The impression that you gave about me is wrong. So I need you to apologize. Just apologize, man. Just apologize. Be a man about it. Be a man about it. And again, this is the reason why I don't believe that Cachalia is the right man to lead this institution. Guys, what are your thoughts? Please tell me what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to hit the like button. And the most important part, subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabasa. So I will see you next time. Bye-bye.